recognized symbol of excellence for your entertainment.
Here are the Ramones.
Welcome to Machino Music, the show that puts music in Machino music, with your host, me, Brett Strong. Today on Machino Music, it's Ramones 70's album ranking. I want to be sedated. Good afternoon, everybody. Hey ho, let's go. Ramones 70's album ranking. That's what we're doing here today. You know, I gotta say, this was and is the most difficult album ranking I'm ever going to do on this show. Because here's the thing. You got 4 studio albums that the Ramones put out in the 70s. All are great. Now, I was going to put it on the entire discography, but I thought there's a few albums that I'm still trying to, upgrade my copies of. And I just thought, why don't I just do the 70s? Because I'm going to torture myself. These are like 4 albums and they're all classic in their own right. So, yeah, for your entertainment, I'm going to torture myself. So, let's see how I do this. Now, of course, the Ramones, if you're not familiar with this band, I don't think you'd be watching this if you weren't. They're not a bunch of Spanish guys who are all related named Ramon.
When we met in the elevator, we all have the same last name.
No, that's Jeffrey Hyman, better known as Joey Ramone, John Cummings, better known as Johnny Ramone, Douglas Colvin, better known as Dee Dee Ramone, Thomas Erdelier, known as Tommy Ramone, and Mark Bell, best known as Marky Ramone. You also had Christopher Ward, who was known as C.J. Ramone. He came in later, and there was like Richie, and Clem Burke once sat in as Elvis Ramone. Yeah, so yeah, there's different members, but here in the 70s is the classic lineup, and also you get Marky Ramone coming in on an album, so you got a lineup change. They didn't even make it through the 70s with the same lineup. But let's see how I do on this. This was very difficult, so let's get into this Ramones 70's album ranking. Now, this might be a little controversial, but at the bottom for me, I'm going to debut. Yeah, I know, maybe a little controversial because it's just a great debut. But you got to rank them somehow. And this one I thought, it's a start. Like most debuts, it's a start. It's a beginning. I mean, if your favorite album is a band's debut, and I have a few debut albums that are my favorite by bands that I love, but not for all bands, because I think sometimes they did get better than the debut. And this debut, there's some great tunes on it. I mean, Blitzkrieg Bop, you're still hearing that song. I mean, like every ball game, you hear that song. Just watching a Toronto Blue Jays game, they Blitzkrieg Bop playing in the stadium. Yeah, of course they play the song. You hear it at every sporting event. It's one of those classic jock jams, I used to call them. Yeah. Beat on the Brat is a classic. I Want to Be Your Boyfriend, kind of a ballad, kind of a softer song. Really good. Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue. Nobody had song titles like the Ramones. And a lot of it played on kind of these anxieties and these fears. So yeah, I mean, and it's a lot of like childhood traumas that this came from a lot of this. And actually the song I Don't Want to Go Down Into the Basement, Debbie Harry of Blondie, she's a tour with the Ramones. Clem Burke was Elvis Ramone. Yeah. But she believes that the song I Don't Want to Go Down Into the Basement was inspired by the bathroom at the famed club CBGB's, where all the punk bands got their start. She believes it's about that can because at the CBGBs because that place was a joint. But it brought out all these great bands. So yeah, that's where I'm putting the debut. Some of might be a little bit higher, but that's first rank for me. You got to rank them somehow. And again, this is so difficult. Next, I'm going. This was a last-minute swap out. I had to leave home from 1977. This is a great album. But it's like, I could have put this one higher. I almost made this my number one. But yeah, it's so difficult. But yeah, I love this album. Gimme Gimme Shock Treatment was a hit off of this album. I mean, one of those early Ramones. I mean, who's like songs like Gimme Gimme Shock Treatment? I mean, come on. Glad to See You Go kicking off the album. Really dig that song. Pinhead, which gave us another Ramones catchphrase. Blitzkrieg Bop gave us Hey Ho Let's Go. Pinhead gave us Gabba Gabba Hey. I think I've always liked Gabba Gabba Hey a little bit better because, it's just nonsense. It's really funny. Swallow My Pride I like. Commando, one of my favorite Ramones songs, probably my favorite song on this album. Just love that song. Dee Dee Ramone was a fantastic songwriter. Pretty well wrote that song, based off of sort of his military upbringing. He was having a lot of military stuff, and yeah. Really interesting guy. He had his demons, but I think that's what made him such an interesting and such a great songwriter. So, yeah. Dig it. And also they do a cover of California Sun by the Rivieras. Dig that. Yeah, this is a good album. Almost put it higher, but this is the one I swapped it out with because I kind of had to. And we're in the top 2, everybody. Not that it really matters because, there's only 4 albums. So a top 2 is like, they're all kind of the top 2 because 2 and 2 makes 4. So this one I swapped it out with Rocket to Russia. I mean, this is almost a perfect album.
That's the Ramones' best album.
There's so many great songs on this. Cretin Hop, kicking off the album, really fun. Rockaway Beach, classic. Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. Locket Love, kind of a little softer song there. Similar kind of song to I Want to Be Your Boyfriend from the debut. I Don't Care, classic, dig it. Sheena Is a Punk Rocker, one of my all-time favorite Ramones songs. Love it. Teenage Lobotomy, do a cover of Bobby Freeman's Do You Wanna Dance, dig it. They also do a Surfin' Bird cover, Trashmen. Yeah. Like the Ramones kind of, the Trashmen, it's an early punk rock classic right there. Surfin' Bird. But yeah, dig it. We're a Happy Family, really fun song. Actually, there's that movie, the Netflix movie Yes Day, starring Jennifer Garner and Jenna Ortega, where like the parents just let the kids get away with murder. Just say yes to everything. Yeah, that's the idea. But there's that scene where one of the things that the family does is they go through the car wash with the windows down. I mean, how many times have we all done that? Family fun at its best. But yeah, they do that, and in this scene, over the scene, the music cue is "We're a Happy Family." Now, of course, I have to edit the song because that is not a family-friendly song. I mean, we're sitting here in Queens eating refried beans. These are poor people. The baby's eating flies. I mean, these people are messed up. and the dad might be hiding the fact that he's gay. Okay, this is yeah, and this was used in a family-friendly movie. Yeah, let's let the kids hear the whole song. We're a Happy Family. We're a Happy Family is a much darker song than it leads on. It's a very ironic song. That's what makes it so cool. But yeah, dig this album. But what is my number one? kind of always has been, and especially listening to these again, I had to go Road to Ruin. I mean, I think this is a perfect album. Every song on this is great. I mean, not a sinker in the bowl on this album. I just want to have something to do. I wanted everything. Don't come close. I don't want you. Great. Needles and Pins, a cover of a song by The Searchers, 1960s group. The Ramones were very influenced by, the 90s, the girl groups, and this surf bands and all that kind of. So that they had a lot of those influences and did a lot of cover tunes of a lot of those bands. And the song of Needles and Pins was written by Sonny Bono, legendary Sonny Bono. I'm Against It. I Want to Be Sedated. Of course, a classic. Most people know that song. I mean, if you know any song by the Ramones, you probably know I Want to Be Sedated. Go Mental. Questioningly. Beautiful ballad. They could do some ballad. They could slow it down. Do some, dig it. She's the One, Bad Brain, and It's a Long Way Back. I mean, I just went through every song because this, I think, is a classic album. And you have Marky Ramone making his debut on this album. Tommy went on to be the producer along with Ed Stasium, produced and engineered by Tom Ertelier and Ed Stasium. That's what happened here. That's what made this so difficult. These albums are so classic. I could swap this out. This is what I'm saying today. Road to Ruin's my favorite. I could swap it. Rocket to Russia could become my favorite tomorrow if you ask me. I don't know. But this is such a classic band, one of my all-time favorite bands. There was just no other band like the Ramones. And of course, when I'm talking about Road to Ruin, I'm talking about the giant CD format here, the vinyl. Just love that album cover. They're cartoon characters. Another thing I love about the Ramones, they look like cartoon characters. There they are on the back. Coolest, yeah. And just while I brought them out, I thought I'd talk about their last albums here, starting to go in order. Mondo Bizarro. This was from 1992. What's the date? Yeah, 1992. This was one of their final records. So many great songs on this. Actually, I think this has my favorite Ramones song of all time, which is Poison Heart. Just love that song. I was today years old, as the kids like to say, when I learned that Flo and Eddie, Mark Volman and Howard Kalin of the Turtles and Frank Zappa fame did the background vocals on Poison Heart, my favorite Ramones song. I didn't know that. Love Flo and Eddie, and did not know that they sung background vocals on Poison Heart, my favorite Ramones song. So there you go. I was today years old when I learned that. Yeah, so dig it. But this is a really good album. I really like this one. Great latter period record. C.J. Ramone is on this one. And then their final album, before that they had, after Mondo Bizarro and before this record, Adios Amigos, they had the album Acid Eaters, which was a covers album. But this is the true, this was their final record, actually called Adios Amigos. And this is a pretty good album. This, if you're going to go out, I think this is a good way to go out. There's some great tunes on here. I Don't Want to Grow Up. Making Monsters for My Friends. Great song. And Dee Dee still contributed songs to the band, even though he was out of the band at this period. But he was still contributing songs. He wrote Poison Heart on Mondo Bizarro. But yeah. It's a great, compare this to, the debut, and then we get all the way to the final record, Adios Amigos. Big contrast. Production styles are much different. They had bit of a bigger budget by the time they got to here. But the thing is interesting, the Ramones never had like a massive hit. They were not like a huge band. People think they're this huge band now, but they really didn't have, any major hits, any platinum albums, gold albums, whatever, during their lifetime. But they were always so popular. And it's amazing, too, that they endured as long as they did. That was a big spit I just did right there. Because, they were at each other's throats, especially like Joey Ramone and Johnny Ramone really didn't like each other. Johnny was a jerk. If everything I've read about Johnny Ramone, he was a jerk. And I'm sure if you've read anything about the Ramones, if you're a Ramones fan, yeah, Johnny Ramone was a bully. He was a dick. But put these guys together, it made some amazing music. So sometimes, you know, it's difficult to do so, but, you know, you put the art before the artist. And the Ramones were just one of those bands that were just so great, and I think now people are really starting to catch up to them, realize, wow, this was an amazing band. And definitely one of the all-time greatest bands in rock and roll history. There will never be another band like the Ramones. I mean, people who look like that, who start like a new thing. They basically kicked off punk rock music and made it the thing, at least in North America. So yeah, I'm a huge Ramones fan. This was difficult to do, but I think I did it. Ask me tomorrow, I might change my entire ranking, but I thought I want to do another Ramones show, and I thought this is a good way to do it by doing a 70s album ranking. Maybe I'll do another ranking of some point when I, you know, sort of upgrade a lot of my copies of some of these records. But I'm a big Ramones fan, and if you're a fan, I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for this week. Until we meet again, this is Brett Strong saying, good journey.